What if the biggest thing holding back your spiritual growth isn't fear, trauma, or a lack of ability? What if it's the fact that you keep giving your power away? In this episode, we analyze a series of fascinating dreams that reveal a surprising pattern. Talented spiritual people who can see, heal, channel, and help others, but struggle to recognize the value of their own gifts. From entering a banquet with dark lighting to seals wearing red and white hats, these dreams expose the hidden ways we protect ourselves, shrink ourselves, and avoid stepping fully into who we're meant to become. And if you've ever felt called to do something bigger, but doubted whether you're ready, this episode may feel like it was recorded just for you. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. We are excited that you are here with us today.
I got my haircut for Sandy's birthday, which has just happened. She loves it when I have short hair.
No, that's not true. I love long hair.
But I feel smarter with shorter hair, so that's good. We're going to dive into it, but before we do, just want to remind you our mentorship course has started. If you're interested in that, there's still time to join us. Go to dream-analysis.com/courses. That'll tell you all about it. And you can go to dream-analysis.com/Sandy if you want to book a call with Sandy to talk about it. Sandy asked me to remind you, because the people that she does talk to are unaware of this, so it's my fault. We do have a free app that has our dictionary on steroids, 4,000 entries plus in it. And you can get that by following the link for iPhone and Android under this show, or you can go to dream-analysis.com/Android or dream-analysis.com/iPhone. Totally free, has a journal, has lots of other things, has this podcast in the app and other things too. So, Sandy, shall we just do dreams?
Yeah, but before we dive in, I want people to understand that we don't get to track any data. We're not tracking your data. We're not seeing your dreams. So if you do want to dream on the show, you're going to have to submit it the old way. You want to tell people how to submit their dreams to the radio show?
Absolutely. dream-analysis.com/podcast is where you'll get the details. Or you can email radioshow@dream-analysis.com. And everybody who writes in will get a reply. You don't get every dream done. I've heard people say, hey, you said every single dream I sent in will get a reply. Do you not like me? That is not the way it is. We get a lot of dreams sent in. So our goal is to answer everybody. And there is a backlog, so apologies for that. But please do send your dreams in. They are the lifeblood of the show.
Yes, and we enjoy looking at them. So we are ready to dive in, and we have some short dreams that are pretty fast, but they're going to be interesting. So the first one is from Grace. It's titled Flying by the Beach. Ooh, I like that one. I was by the ocean with my husband and Ruth, who is dean of my healing school. We were sitting on top of a rock fence. The rocks were big and rectangular. Below us, there was a coastal bluff, about 20 to 30 feet above the beach, pretty high up. I wanted to carefully slide down to the beach, but I wasn't wearing shoes and asked my husband to put them on me. Ruth didn't want to wait for a slow descent, so she held me in her arms and jumped down directly. I was scared and hoping she would have a safe landing. I was praying to God and the guides that both of us would be okay. I closed my eyes but could viscerally feel that we were slowly dropping, not free falling. I realized that we were flying for some time towards the ocean and landed right before we reached the water. The front part of the ocean kind of looked like ponds or lakes. Ruth stopped and told me that she was teaching the flying class. She used a technical term, something like slow flying class or airborne movement. I finally understood what she was doing. That was pretty cool. I like the flying, Michael.
I know you do. You also like the beach. So
I do.
Again, we have a name show up in it. We have Ruth. So then I channel on that, Ruth being the dean of the healing school. And they said, yes, we like Ruth. So that's really cool. But they didn't like what she did in the dream. So that's significant. So anyway, good school because they like the person. And they don't hold their punches. They often will tell us a spiritual guru that somebody is going to is not authentic or not good for that person. And here's an important thing to realize. Somebody can be good, but it's not bringing you down the right path. And it's making a waste of a lot of things that you're doing in your life, a waste of money and waste of time and so on. So it's always important to know, even though I really want to do this, is it the right thing? And is it the right people I'm meant to be with? Anyway, so they like Ruth, they just don't like what she's doing. And the dream is really about her getting a better connection with the spirit world. That's what the ocean is about. And she's trying to jump down, get to this place where she didn't want to jump, but she wants to get to that lower thing. So what is the upper part about? Well, the upper part is about the spirit world, where we move up into the higher aspects of ourselves or up out of our bodies. And so this person has worked in the spiritual field for some time. She's a great channel and very, very aware of things in the spirit world. And she's going through this process now, or at least when I talked to her about this dream, I asked her, are you trying to embody what you now know about the spirit world? Bring it out of your head, down from your intellect and into your body and have a lived experience of it. And she said that's exactly what she's trying to do. And that's what the dream is about. So grabbing that, I love how Ruth called it an airborne movement, because air in dreams is about your state of mind. We covered that on the show lots of times. The first rule of dream interpretation is everything is me. And then that breaks down to earth, air, fire, and water. Air is about your state of mind. And so here they said it's like grabbing this column and moving it down from the spirit world. So if you imagine you're channeling and you move up out of your body, maybe up a chakra or so, and they want to grab that space and knowledge that she has in the spirit world and bring it down and embody it within her so that she doesn't have to raise her energy to get it anymore. It's just part of who she is. It becomes her new default. And I remember myself years and years ago when I was trying to do that too. It made no sense to me. I was like, what do you mean about embody? I understand this and I understand that and I understand other things because I've read a lot of books and I have a photographic memory. And my own guides were saying, yeah, but you're not ready to teach classes. You haven't embodied it. It's just intellectual. And so this is a beautiful point we all get to, where we need to move it out of the intellect and move it out of like, oh, let me check the cheat sheet. What should I do here? And bring it into my default that I do is the spiritually right thing to do. Not because I've read it somewhere. It's because I believe it. I have made it part of me. Anyway, that's what she's doing. So they really like it and they love where she's gone. The husband in the dream, he doesn't follow her. Like it's very obvious in this dream. She wanted him to put on the shoes and obviously follow her down or help her get down, but he doesn't. So he's not going to follow her into her new spiritual space. That's not good to see in a dream. That makes you go, oh, how's the marriage going to go? So it's interesting that he didn't do that part for her. And then back to Ruth. What did they not like about her? Well, they didn't like that she just grabbed her and jumped. When I channeled on Ruth and asked about her and why was she negative in the dream, they said that she does things very fast. She understands a lot of things herself and she understands the intersection of the spiritual and physical. And so if you ask her to do something, she will just do it and say, there, I did it. And she won't necessarily tell you what she did or why she did it the way she did it. And that does not work for Grace. She needs to understand not necessarily the whole thing, but like, why are you doing what you're doing? Even just from an energy perspective. And they said, once she knows that, she won't have that fear that she had in the dream, where it's like, oh, we're just falling and I'm afraid we're going too fast. And then, of course, it worked out okay. But if she knew in advance, they said it would be like she steps into a glass elevator and is very happy moving down with Ruth compared to her just holding her and having that fear. So anyway, just she does it too fast. She said that's exactly how Ruth is. She does things very fast because she understands them and just wants to do them. Other than that, they're saying, look, Ruth is good for you, but you just need to let her know that you need it explained to you. All right. Question, Sandy, or did I do such a good job?
That was a fabulous job, but we have rocks that were big and rectangular. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, and we have the fence. So it's like I'm up in the spiritual field, but I have this safety. I have this protection around me. And that's what she's trying to overcome, which she does, but she has the fear of overcoming it. So it's not a good start having that protection there, but getting past them is good.
Yeah, and then we have 2 to 3 again, that this time is 20 to 30 feet. So what does that mean?
It's commitment to channeling or commitment to this spiritual field. That's the main thing that she does, is she channels for people. So 2 is about channeling, 3 is about commitment, and then the zeros after it make it a worthy thing. And it's going to be the same thing in both dreams. She is very spiritual. She recently quit her job to just work full-time in the spiritual field. So having dreams that give her that commitment push is also quite nice, because we've had people who've even been through our programs who want to quit their jobs and work full-time in the spiritual field, and they say, no, not yet. You're not ready to do it. And then we see some people try it and do it, and it doesn't work out for them. You have to wait until your own guides tell you this is the time for you. And they will, but they're going to tell you what you need to do to get to that point.
Right. That's excellent. Okay. And then we had the front part of the ocean look like ponds or lakes. So why ponds and lakes?
Yeah, so not good. Like you want to get down to the ocean, which is like embodying the spiritual field. And so she gets there, but the ponds and lakes just signify that I don't have the full body. It's not fully embodied. I've got pools of it that I understand. But she's still closer to the ocean. So it's the right direction and an extremely positive dream, really.
Yeah, it was. I love the beach and I like being on the bluff and I like all of that. But anyways, let's move on. We have a dream from Tammy, and this one's titled Ashling School Banquet. I like the title, Michael. Walk in and feel many rows of people. It's dark, but ambient light could tell bleacher seating to the left, then floor seating all pointed towards the stage. As I walked up the narrow aisle, my umbrella came open. It wasn't fully attached. I go to close it, hoping I wouldn't hit anyone in the process. I could tell there were people on the right, but not all the seats were filled on the left. All right, Michael, let's see what you've got to say.
Okay, so that's just the first part of the dream. And I really like how they did this. I had to think about this one a bit because she goes in. First, it's cool that she has Ashling School in it. That's us. That's great. But she goes into this place and she sees all the rows of people. It's dark, but there's ambient light. So we don't like dark. And you would think that the initial thing about the dream is, oh, there's something she doesn't see clearly. Now, there's a little bit of that. But it took a minute to realize that this dream is really commenting on her ability to see when other people are in the dark. So she's already at an advanced stage and she can see, okay, look, these people are here. They're in the dark. Some people are sitting here. It isn't balanced. There aren't people on the left. There's some people on the right. And we haven't come to it, but she comes to another part that has more light. So we're going to cover that in a second. But what they're saying here at this part is that she enjoys watching people be reached. And she's able to see when people have difficulty finding their way. So with that part said, let's continue on and then I'll fill in the rest.
But I want to know about the umbrella.
Okay, no problem. She brings her own protection into many places. An umbrella is a protection. We don't like it. She's aware that she brings it in and she doesn't really open it up. It kind of opens and she wants to fix it. So it's more bothersome for her than it is damaging to anybody. She says she's afraid it's going to hit somebody, but it doesn't because it doesn't fully open. So she has her own fears, and I'm going to talk about that, her own protections that she brings in. And the dream is saying to her, you need to quit it. We don't like you doing that at all.
All righty, we're going to continue on. Up closer to the front, it was lighter, and there were tables that were perpendicular to the stage. This area was lit. There was seating and place settings for food, and there was light on the tables. There were some graduates that were trying to decide which table to go to. All decided to go to the table in the far right so they could all sit together. I was like, come on, just sit down anywhere. I went off and sat at one of the tables near the front, where there was already a woman and a man. At each place sitting was a note or something that indicated what the protein was being served at that plate. So you could decide once you got there where to sit. I think Maria had come by and said, did you see all the people, or some comment about how big Ashling School had become, or just the growth of it, the far reach of it that we didn't even know, hadn't been aware of? We both were pretty teary with the happiness about it. Ooh, I like that. That's a cool dream. All right, Michael, what do you have to say?
I have plenty to say, Sandy. So she's able to help people. So from the first part, she's able to see when people have difficulty and she sees what people are doing. So it's all about her ability to observe others in the dark, others trying to decide where they're sitting. And look, it's all about like, oh, here's tables near the front that have more light on them. They even have a light on the table. She has a strong intuition that tells her So if there's a class being run and there's 20 people in the class and she's not even running the class, she would automatically know, like, there's 3 people over there that are kind of lost here and they need more attention than the host is giving them. And she'd be perfect for saying to the host, look, I noticed this and I noticed that about these other 2 people over here. That's just who she is. She has the ability to see when people are a little bit lost or people are in the dark. So it's really cool. And she's even telling people, just sit where you sit. But then look at the other things she's saying. Like, there's lists on the tables to say, this is the food at this plate. So like, what is it that you want? What do you think is going to whet your appetite? Sit at the right place for you. So it's all about her ability to see the positioning that somebody takes up and whether it gives them what they need. Beautiful imagery. But then we have the protection that she brings into the places. They're saying, okay, don't do that. She should be treating herself like, even if she's not the host, that she is one of the helpers in the places that she goes to. And I think we talk about this in one of the other smaller dreams. But that's the attitude they want her to have. Like, even if she's not there and it's not her event, she should have that attitude. She shouldn't just be at an event thinking, I'm an attendee. She can be an attendee, but she has to elevate herself too. Intuition is her big thing. She uses this to know if someone has found their place. Like I said, this is a strength, but she doesn't see it as a strength. Her seeing their problem is absolutely terrific. But when she sees the problem, she doesn't feel good about it. So it took me a while to try turn it around and say, look, this is what you've got to do. Realize how amazing it is that you could tell that these people are having a problem when others can't tell. And that's your strength. So don't be sad that you see that. Be absolutely delighted. And then wherever you are, just point it out to the host or whoever else is doing the admin there and say, look, this person's left out or whatever, because she has that skill. The other thing is, though, she doesn't always have to help the person she sees with the problem. And she feels that she does. Like, the fact that she sees it makes her feel bad. But the spotting it is her gift, right? And then pointing it out discreetly, even if it's just discreetly, it is often enough.
Wow, that's brilliant. What an amazing gift. Okay, so we have tables that were perpendicular to the stage. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Anything special?
Yeah. So she has bleachers that are dimly lit, bleachers on the left and the right. So again, what position do you want to take? And then these tables that are perpendicular with lights on them right at the front. So she can see all the different places and different angles people could sit at in order to enjoy the event. And other people can't. Remember, it's a dark place. They walk in, she sees all this. And so people are just taking seats, but not necessarily the best seats. And so she is even trying to encourage graduates to say, sit up here at the front. Like, just sit down. Don't all head over into that corner.
Very good. And then she's got a comment about how big our school, which makes me happy, has become, how much it's grown. So what does that mean?
Well, it's great to see, because we can see from the dream she has the ability to see difficulties with people. And then she sees the school and she can see, whoa, this is getting big. And we're waiting for that to happen, everybody. I mean, we're already bigger than we ever thought we would be. But it's really cool to see that in her dream.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, we have several more little slight dreams from Tammy. This one's titled Large Pot and Copper Cups with the Sheridans. Ooh, once again, that's us. So Michael asked if we had any alcohol that day that maybe we could channel later. I said, just one glass of champagne you sent over. Later, when others had arrived, I was looking through my small suitcase for a jacket or at least my purple scarf because it was getting cold. Neither were there. Okay, Michael, what do you make of that short little snippet?
So it is a snippet of the original. I cut out a lot. And the whole dream is about celebration of her, including her femininity, which is what the large pot is about in the copper cups. So I channeled on that. Even though we didn't include that piece, I'm just going to say, because it's in the title, that they like her using copper and crystals to enhance her own space. And it was really interesting. When I was channeling on the copper, they said, yeah, when she's got crystals around, the copper draws energy from the crystals or focuses energy from several crystals towards it. I didn't know that's what copper does. But anyway, she's not meant to use crystals or copper directly to work with other people, but rather to enhance her own space and help her with the work that she does while she works with other people. The dreamer is a terrific healer, but has a habit of giving others the credit for her work. She gets help, and that's okay. but they want her to be seen as the expert. And we see this is kind of a continuation of the last dream. Why? What is the point? Because you could say, oh, that's arrogant or that's whatever. Why should I be perceived as the expert? And they said, what happens is she works with people very diligently, helping people in trouble. But what she does is she pulls other people in at various different times and goes, okay, you need this extra help. You need this person. And she brings in the person. And then she gives all the credit to the other person. And she hits this point of giving energy away. Even though she might have worked with somebody for 10 weeks, she brings somebody else in for one session and she goes, that's great. That person helped them. And they do not like that. They really didn't like her doing that. And they said, what you need to do is celebrate your part in their achievement. Yours is the bigger part. The very fact that you knew they needed somebody else and you brought in an extra skill set, that is also you, right? Yes, the other person's helping, but it's amazing that you knew that they needed that help. It's a bit like she can see when somebody's in the dark. And they said that when she does that, it's going to push her own energy up a column. And I love the column that they showed me. It's like a column in a church. And it's going to push that column up, going higher and higher, up to a very great height. And working with clients is meant to pay her back in this way. So she hits the end point, celebrates her part in their achievement, and then she gets this boost. So it's important for her to help other people, but it's also important for her to take the credit for her effort in it. And if she doesn't do that last part, then her helping other people does nothing for her. And the spiritual work is always a two-way street. And the second part of this street is her giving herself the credit, something that she finds hard to do. They also said, don't do things to block your energy, celebrate at the right times. And that's like, in the dream, I had sent her champagne, and she's not really a champagne drinker. She will drink it to celebrate things, all right. So that's what it means for her. But she already drank it. And so when she gets somebody else in on a project that she's working on, that's when she celebrates, like, oh, that's great, that person helped them. No, that's too early. Don't celebrate at the wrong time. Celebrate yourself, not the others. So wait till you get to the end. Celebrate, like I said, your part in their achievement. And then the jacket and the suitcase at the end. I know it's only a snippet, but I have lots of words here. She gets cold around others. And this is a bit like the other dream. She needs to light up instead. So if she's at an event, she sees all the issues people have and she will very rarely say or do anything about it. And they want her to just like do something, light up instead, know that you're able to help even just by pointing out who needs help. Don't sit back. She can even ask others, how can I help you? Even if it's not her event. So it can be something that puts her neck on the block or just something that she then becomes aware of because she knows there's an issue and she went and asked, and then she can share it with whoever needs to hear it. She needs to keep herself in the realm of, I am one of the helpers, even if she's an attendee. They kept hammering home, how you help others is real. So it's kind of funny that they say that because she mustn't think it's real. She must be really just giving it all to other people who help.
Very interesting. What about purple? She had a purple scarf.
So she doesn't even have a scarf. And the purple scarf would go around her throat. So the jacket and the scarf are about like, I'm trying to calm myself down. Purple is a color for calming. And it would go over her throat, like if she was put that scarf on there. So it's like, I don't want to express myself. So I want to do things. But she's sitting there bothered. And she said like, yeah, I decided not to do something. And I said, yeah, but your guides are saying it still bothers you. You can't let it go. So you need to do something. You need to express something. Don't cover that chakra. That's about her getting cold feet, you could say, because jackets are about protection. Remember, she had an umbrella in the last dream. So it's like she's bringing these protection devices into the dreams with her when she doesn't need them. They don't want her using them.
Wow, very interesting. Well, we have another one from Tammy. I love these little snippets. Matter of fact, we have a couple more. And so it'll be fun to kind of paint the picture. So the next one is titled Seals with Hats. Scene of a row of mailboxes curving along a road. All have a seal image cut out that is wearing a red and white striped hat. I love it. So all the mailboxes have seal images wearing red and white striped hats. Okay, Michael, I bet that was an interesting dream. It's very short.
All right. Your comment was longer than the dream. So mailboxes on a curved road. Well, mailboxes are about a channeling ability, where messages are sent and picked up. So she is a channel. She channels in her work. And The dream is telling her to have fun and confidence in that. Now, I think she already does. Think about what is a seal? It's an apex predator in the ocean. So it's quite a positive. So the fact that it's saying we encourage you to have joy and hope and fun doing this channeling as you go along the road. And the curve in the road is cool, but it tells us that she can't tell where she's going because she can't see around the corner because of the curve. But it's also quite positive because it's the heart is in it too because of the curve. So have fun with your spiritual gift of channeling is really the meaning of that. But what I found interesting is then she had another dream the following night with another seal.
Yep, that's the next dream. But before we go to that, you always say red and white are the best colors to have in a dream, but this is a hat. So what does that mean? And explain why they're the best colors.
So it's great if it's a hat because the hat is about your spiritual side, the crown chakra, and red and white. Now, if she said a black cap, it's like, oh, that's not good. But red and white puts the wind in your sails. Red and white is a really good color. You're always going to wake up feeling great if you have a dream of red and white. It's like a flying dream in how good it feels, even though that's not what it's about. But they want her to have confidence and hope in her future of doing the work that she's doing, specifically the channeling. So it's really good because of that.
Alrighty. Well, this is the next dream that has a seal in it, and it's titled Seal Care. Once again, it's from Tammy. We're at a shop with a young seal. We are caring for it. It had turned slightly orange, and we didn't know why. Maybe it needs to be in the water. We dropped it in where there was a scuba diver too. It seemed happy, and the color was back to normal. Maybe it just been out of the water too long. One of the errands I was doing was to take the seal to a place and learn how to care for it. All righty, Michael. Once again, it's a short dream. Let's hear what you have to say.
She likes to protect herself too much because look at what she's doing with the seal. And so remember, the seal is a spiritual animal. So it's like, I'm a spiritual being on the land because she has the seal in two dreams. They're not in the water, but it's still, because of the connection with the water, we know it's spiritual, right? We know it's a spiritual thing with the mailboxes because it's about channeling, the gift of channeling. So here she has the seal out of the water. It's a follow-on from the previous night. So she protects herself too much in the physical world, feeling like she is pushing herself too hard. Now, orange as a color is about drive and ambition. And so when I channeled on it, they said it's more about the pushing herself, like connected with the drive. And she will do too much. So what I said to her is, you're going to do too much, and then you stop and go back. And she says, that's exactly what I do. Like, I have this plan. I'm just going to do this, this, and this. And then after a while, I go, I pushed too hard. I'm not going to do it. And they said, she's never going to be happy with doing that because she hits this protection phase. Like, oh, I got to put the seal back in the water. No, you don't. So anyway, that's the whole meaning of the dream, that she does that protection. And it was a much longer dream and I cut it out. So I just left in this last part because I thought it was interesting. But putting it back in the water and its color goes back to normal and all that. And then she says, I was going to take the seal to a place and learn how to take care of it. So her whole fear stuff is like, I think I don't know how to care for this. And when we see it on the back of all her other symbols about protection, like with the jackets, the scarf and the umbrella and so on, and, oh, I have had this seal out of the water too long. They're just saying, look, you're really good at this. You're fantastic at it on the spirit world side of things. But since you've come to the earth plane, you're being way too careful, way too protective, and you need to stop that.
Very, very interesting. And you already said what the color means. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to our show. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed our show. And remember, our mentorship program has started, and if you'd like to join in, it's not too late. And Michael will leave links down below. And don't forget about our free app. And that way you can start tracking your dreams and maybe get some understanding of what they're telling you. Anyways, have a great week, and we look forward to talking to you next week. Bye.
Bye.